They'll be calling you a radical. Kevin Blanch, Barack Obama has officially become the greatest slave owner in human history. Now you really think about this. There's a lot to talk about in this video. Carol has done this incredible video on caught the head of the E.P.A. lying blatant. He's either one of two things. You watch this. This is an important video. Me and her been doing some work. This is the guy head of the whole district of the New Mexico district on the E.P.A. He says it right off the gift. Oh, the media would be reporting. That'd be everywhere. We know it's been reported by the D.O.E. The D.O.A.'s come out. Now, hear me out. Now we'll get to Obama, the biggest slave owner in history. NBC reports it as he signed to prevent forced labor. Then you just read right down into it. He signed it to allow forced labor. I mean, this is how over the top these attorneys that write this media for NBC. I mean, this is how blatant they are in your face. Up is down, black is white. Obama, I mean, Annabelle, wow. The African-American community should be going completely insane psycho about this. Anybody should. Everybody that's repressed, 99% of the country should be going psycho. I mean, honestly, so Carol, so as we know, we've been reporting that the nuclear waste in Japan, they officially got permission to start aerosoling and burn it. Well, there's a reason they don't let you burn it here. So they're killing us in jet stream. But, so the MOX fuel has been reported with armed carriers and fighter planes over the top, all the way around the world into South Carolina. It's made it here. From Japan. Now remember, it was sent over to the MOX fuel for their secret MOXie fuel plants. What's Fukushima? The multiple meltdowns that went up and down the coast of Japan. The only reason we know about Fukushima is because of the live cams. So we know it's there. So the D.O.E. has been saying for a little while now that they're going to ship it to New Mexico. Well, they come out last week in a D.O.E. doc and says, here you go, 13.2 metric tons of the worst plutonium is coming to New Mexico. So Carol's all over this. So we've been working together, and so she, you know, she calls the head of the E.P.A., she calls all these districts, wants to know what's going on. Now you know what happened to W.I.P.P. W.I.P.P. can't even handle kitty litter, they say, when it's really plutonium that blew up. W.I.P.P.'s closed. So it's being reported. Now I've had different truckers, different sources, my sources, and I ain't giving up my sources. I know for a fact they're trucking all kinds of stuff. So hear me out. So the plutonium that was shipped to, the MOX fuel plutonium, shipped to Japan in 1993, as we as activists, we battled and fought against it big time. To MOX, because they said they could turn it into a better, cleaner fuel, make better nuclear bombs, blah, 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 get rid of it. Didn't work, didn't work. That's what Savannah River was built up for. Savannah River, the only lies South Carolina. So that's what they were doing in number 3, number 4, number 5, and the number 6 at Fukushima Daiichi. But Fukushima Daiichi, they were doing the same thing. So now they're saying they're shipping it back? When we know there's FOIA documents that prove that this same fuel that they were experimenting with was blown up into the atmosphere and pushed into the Pacific Ocean. That's the United States FOIA documents, the D.O.E. themselves. So what are they really shipping? Then they come out and say, we're shipping it to New Mexico. I thought W.I.P.P. was closed. So she calls him, he says to her, now remember, this is one of two things. Either he is a blatant, hardcore, sociopathic liar, or he's just in serfdom bliss. Look, these guys live in their glass houses. These government employees, they don't work. You know, it's just, it's so grotesque. So they get, I mean, this guy's probably making $250,000 a year. Now this is the head of the E.P.A. This is the guy that's supposed to warn us. This guy, he works for us, the taxpayer. Now think about this. Now you have to watch this interview. So he says, well, the mainstream, he's relying on the mainstream. What do you do then? What is it you do? And so they live in their glass houses and their ivory towers, and this is free money. You know, what did Gandhi say about wealth without work? So it's serfdom. That's what we turned into. So Biden comes here today. Now, hear me out. Obama, Barry Antoinette let them eat yellow cake, the greatest slave owner in history, him and Tim Cook. Biden, whose son was killed by depleted uranium in Iraq, died of cancer, is at the Huntsman Cancer Center today. The luxury of good at death. Not my words, LDS is everybody's words here. They don't even rank the top 100, yet they advertise. Huntsman Chemical, Huntsman Chemical, Huntsman Chemical. They give you cancer. So Biden met with the Mormon church, just like Obama did, to cut the nuclear deal. So we're causing cancer, Huntsman Chemical. Obama, sure on the White House lawn, they raised the legal limits on you and your children. That was their answer to Fukushima. They crashed RedNet, took Gina McCarthy from RedNet, made her the head of the E.P.A. Now remember, this is Gina McCarthy. This guy works for her, head of the E.P.A. She was head of RadNet. We know RadNet was crashed. Didn't work. Did anybody go to jail? Now, we had internal investigations. We had congressional hearings that were going to happen through Barbara Boxer's office. Why RadNet didn't work? To cover up the San Free and the cover up. Barbara Boxer's office had it all to go. Nope. National interest pushed underground in 2013 in the fall. So, he says he don't even know what she's talking about. My God. What has this place turned into? I mean, either this guy's a liar, he's totally beyond inept, total derelict in duty, or he's a sociopathic liar. I mean, but look, here's what. I want to explain this. Carol didn't know anything about Fukushima, watching my videos. She's become a powerhouse activist. Because I'll tell you why. The activists post 19, about 85, 86, 87, 80 at Chernobyl, turned into, they weren't activists. Nobody does this to them. So there's no activists out there. They've had carte blanche, now they have Kevin Blanch. So you've had Helen Caldecott, you've had Chris Busby, you've had Aren't the Gundershills, you've had all these people that are really, they might as well be working, if they're not working for the nuclear, they might as well. Because they don't do this. So there's been no accountability. There's been no media. There's been no really tough, look, if you're going to be an activist, you have to go into the street, you have to educate yourself, and you have to be willing to go to it. There is no fucking crying in activism. You have to be fearless, you have to know. Carol has educated herself. She'll tell you straight up. Weeping Willow 2. In front of the Weeping Willow. There's Weeping Willow 1, Willow 2. You have to know what you're talking. She's educated herself. She's brilliant. She knows what she's talking about. She's the best, and she goes at it. And she, you know, she's more educated. Look. Think about it. This guy's making $250,000 a year. He's head of the E.P.A, the whole district. She knows more than him. It's been widely reported. It's not widely reported. It's been through the D.O.E. has released it. They're taking it to or to New Mexico. How can this guy possibly not know that? This is plutonium, 13 metric tons of the hottest of the hot, the nuclear waste. You know, I know it's coming in Texas. I know it's coming in Utah. I know that's what Biden's doing here with the Mormon Church. They're on the take of the Mormon Church. Mike Lee's in on it. They're all in on it. It's quiet. They'll play the Patriot card, but it's right in your face. How can this guy possibly not know? So back to Obama. So the African American community, up and down, black as white. So, by the way, there's nothing black about this guy. The white ball, named by a CIA woman in Kansas, his beautiful mother, and the CIA World Bank grandmother in Kansas. They went to Hawaii in '59. Barack Obama's father was a polygamist. No wonder he's comfortable in Utah. Look it up. Look it up. In Kenya, that part of where polygamy is legal. The other wife knew. Barack Obama's mother didn't know. Okay? He's not, by the way, Barack Obama's father ended up at Harvard, just where they all come from. The head of the snake, the CIA rats. Harvard Law, Harvard Law, Harvard Law, Harvard Law, Harvard Law, Harvard Law. You know, it's amazing. So, it's similar to African-American antebellum slaves, great-grandchildren running down the, I mean, what is the NFL? 90% African-American. Hair extensions from executed Chinese prisoners. They don't stick up for their own people. You know, when we're all slaves now it's the brown slave. You know, it's just like illegal immigration. Well, it's against the law to pay somebody. So go after the employers. We have labor laws. Why do we not enforce labor law? So he signs what is the TPP, which is shrouded in nuclear. I know this for a fact. Stuff you can't even read. So NBC, read this headline. Obama signs to block forced labor. Then the very next paragraph, exception. Obama signs law that will allow forced labor on Black Friday, and as I do, yellow and black, on anything which they can spin anything. So this is attaching to where he grew up in Indonesia with the second father. He says in his own book how abusive he was. His mother dies of cancer at 52. He don't care. I mean, these are sickos. And the whole Republican Party all signed on to it. The Democrats say they'll block it, they'll block it, they'll block it. 13 of the TPP betrayals sign it. I mean, look, this isn't red, blue. This is a globalist bunch of rats. What's the answer? Tariffs. Simple. You know, and they say, oh, God. Forbes comes out and says, oh, he wants you to pay more of your iPhone. Really? Are you at it? I mean, got your job, you say $2,300 at Walmart. No, you don't. Took $100,000 from your job. The average American in 1975 made $105,000 a day. Full 40 hours a week, one person working. How long's the experiment got to go on? And the nuclear experiment. So, I mean, you think of the irony of this. Look at when he gave his first inauguration speech. The photos go forever and ever. They're all African American. Talk about, as I say, betrayal. He's the greatest betrayer ever. You know, Uncle Tom was doing what he had to do to protect, and he was He was African American, or yeah, well, he became it. They drug him there. He's a betrayer. Barry Antoinette let them eat yellow cake. Even she wasn't that. He stood on the White House lawn. Look it up on March 17th. I'm going crazy about it and says, the public has the right to be informed about Fukushima radiation, and we will keep them informed. Biggest lie in history. They raise the limits over and over and over. This guy works for Gina McCarthy. Gina McCarthy, I tried to pack the confirmation hearings. But who was the opposition guy at the confirmation hearings? David Vitter? Oh, you mean the guy with the diaper? He doesn't, I talked to his office. He didn't know what fuck Fukushima was. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, just like this guy. So why? Because we've had no activists. You know, I've been on an island. Well, school got out a long time ago. So they've had carte blanche. Well, they got Kevin Blanch now. You know, I survived leukemia. They thought I was going to die. I didn't die. And I want to say this to them. Everybody thought I was going to die. Everybody in the bone marrow transplant. They gave me leukemia 7 months later. They gave it all through the jet stream. Fugo me not. Go ahead and kill me. It's like he says right here when they blackballed me off the university. And I'm literally blackballed. And that's right from the Masonic himself told me that. You know, that's where that term comes from, voting. I'm no Mason. I'm a real Mason. I split my own rock. Because I'm anti-nuclear, and this is University of General Electric. He calls me Kevin Appleseed. He says, you know what, Kevin? The work and everything that you woke up and everything, he says, if they killed you right now, that would be the worst thing that ever happened to these globalist rats in the nuclear cartel. You would become the biggest freaking nuclear martyr in history. And I said, well, I'm not going to die. I'm fighting through this, you know. And I don't need violence. We just need the truth. But this is beautiful activism that Carol did, Weeping Willow too. I mean, school's out, kids. You know, we don't need that's been the problem. The Caldecott, you know, she's made a lot of money, sold her books and her publishers. Good for her. Yeah, good for you, Helen. You're rich, woo-woo, in your freaking hat. You know, she knows me. She denies me. I don't care. You know, Alvarez at least brings up the name, but, you know, it's a bunch of panty painters. And if you don't know what a panty painter is, they used to be called the diaper painters, and it came up with a PhD in New York and artist. The greatest avant-garde, tomato, Snowden that ever was Michelangelo. Lived in fear his whole life, you know. They painted over all his paintings, you know that. Them cloths are all painted over. So the other actors, that's what they are, the panty paint. Don't panty paint over my fucking shit. I know my fucking story. I've been fucking educated since I was that big. These guys make all the money. I have no fucking money. Carol has no fucking money. Thank you in Australia. We got one guy in Australia. One guy. A couple guys in Australia that sponsored her and I, or we would have been done a long time ago. You know, and the people that in my site, there's been people sponsor me in these small signs. It's been so important, part of this historical work. But, you know, this is incredible activism. Barack Obama becomes the greatest slave owner. I mean, I want you to really think about this. You know, remember when we went after Frank Gifford's wife for, you know, using a sweatshop? I mean, think about Nike. Think this is NBC, the nuclear cartel themselves. How fucking gone is this country? And everybody's gone along. Everybody's gone along. College athletes go along. NBA freaking athletes, professionals, you know, they go along. You go, why don't you stand up for your people? You know? Everybody. No, I don't fucking go along. And I don't buy anything new. Nothing. You know, my iPad that fucking broke and shattered, a piece of shit, a guy gave it to me when they tried to team me up in Canada. I mean, it's outrageous. This is great activists. You have to watch this and just think about this. I want you to really run through this in your mind. This is supposedly a black president. Well, there's nothing black about this guy, but Michelle is, and his kids are. You know, wow, this guy's a sicko. You know, the luxury good of death, Huntsman Chemical, Huntsman Chemical. They don't even rank the top 100. Neither do Scripps. My hospital, the LDS bone marrow transplant. First day I go in there, I'm shriveled up, I'm all but dead. Huntsman's still trying to sue me for $1,400 for a phone call. The luxury good. They're rats. The Huntsman family are rats. They stole everything they have. Huntsman Chemical, benzene, the biggest benzene polluters in the world. Styrofoam containers. I'll quote them first day I went in. You want to go up the hill and stay in the place that killed my father. Well, the United States Department of Nuclear killed him. You want to go up there and eat the good food and stay in the hotel and die? Go ahead. You want to come here and fight and live? Yeah. Fuck the Huntsman fucking lie and the Scripps. You know, it's just like Scripps. Lori and I protest there. Head of Scripps, all your money. No, that Pacific Ocean, the greatest free fall in human history. Look it up. The Scripps scientists are studying fish farts. Gave a fucking symposium in New Orleans later. That's all they do. Be surfing fucking because they've had no opposition. They've had no great activists to go at them. They've had softball team and no fucking media. Well, we're the fucking media. No more carte blanche. You got Kevin Blanch. You deal with me. You deal. Our army's a fucking force to be reckoned with. You want to kill us? We don't do anything illegal. Go fucking ahead. Fucking martyr us. Go right a fucking ahead. See fucking what you create. Be the fucking biggest mistake you ever fucking made. Stand tuned. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They're trucking the nuclear waste from Japan, arsenal across you, into fucking the big lie that was going to save the nuclear industry called Savannah River. Plutonium going to New Mexico, and New Mexico, W.I.P.P is shut. W.I.P.P blew up, plutonium all over from W.I.P.P. They can't even handle kitty litter, remember? All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck. Get your cameras out there. Let's catch these rats in their tracks. And I'll tell you what, you're working for the government, you just sucking up, you're derelict in duty. Not good, brother, not good. Because the public's going to turn. The Forbes, the banana chips, all of these guys went along. Oh, the public's awakening. I said it, it'll take 5 years. It'll take 5 years. I've done everything, but, oh, they'll wake. Stand tuned.